Welcome to the Why Did I Get Cancer podcast. I'm Deborah Herlax-Enos, a small-town girl turned TV nutritionist and healthy living expert. I design health programs for the average guy or gal, including those average guys named Metallica. On September 1st, 2020, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I asked every oncologist the same question, why did I get cancer? But none of my doctors had good answers for me. I wanted answers, and that's why I started this podcast. I want to help you to lower your cancer risk and provide self-care tips for those in the battle. I'm getting answers, and I want to share them with you. Dr. H. So we met about 7 years ago at a National Association of Nutrition Professionals, that is a mouthful, conference. You were a speaker, and you were like one of the first speakers I'd heard about cannabis. And today's conversation isn't necessarily about cannabis, but who knows, maybe it is. But we're going to talk about EMFs and how long does it take a cell to repair, and 5G and all kinds of amazing things that can help heal our bodies. So welcome to Why Did I Get Cancer?
Deborah, thank you so much for having me on. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be on, and I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to meet your audience.
Yeah, you have such a diverse background. So you're a naturopathic doctor, you have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, you have a energetic health institute, you have a radio show every week. You're busy.
Yeah, the grass don't grow underneath my feet, unfortunately, and I wish I wish I wasn't this busy, but I think the big call for all of us has been, especially the wake up call for the last 4 years, is that this world is in great disarray right now, and it doesn't have to be. This can be heaven or hell, and we have to start making a decision if we want it to be heaven to start acting like that. And for my big promise is, especially for all the children right now out there, like, we are not turning this fight over to them. We are going to make sure that we've made some significant inroads, and they're going to be taught properly on how to handle this so that they can live a life of integrity and love and light and logic and all these wonderful things, and share in the bounty that it really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and really being grateful every
Hmm.
day. I was saying to you earlier, just, yeah, our world is in disarray, our country's in disarray, so much is in disarray, our health. But as I stood outside this morning, getting the morning sun with my cup of delicious coffee in hand, I was like, wow, God, I am standing on my own legs. I can see the grass. I can smell this coffee. Like, you can always find something to be grateful for.
If you wake up, you're having a good day, right?
Isn't that the truth?
And
Yep.
that's where we start. And, we've been teaching for a lot of years. One of the first things that we encourage people to do is to say thank you to your creator, whatever name you need, and everything. The energy's still the same. Thank you for this new day, because this new day you didn't have to experience. And now you start your
Yeah.
day with that gratitude. And then if you can bring in grace along with it, which is, it's okay to make some mistakes. And I'm not here to judge anyone, right? Nobody, well, a lot of
Yeah.
people have judged me, but it's okay, right? I'm not here to judge anyone. We're at our best when we are exhibiting gratitude and we are exhibiting grace. And that's something that is attainable for every single person on this planet. And what helps support that and helps us get to that are the lifestyle choices we make and the foods that we eat,
Hmm.
and all these wonderful things support that intention of bringing that kind of love, logic, and light into the world. And that's, to me, what we're all about.
Oh, I love that. And I've got to think that having that level of grace toward other people, but also toward yourself, and just a grateful attitude, that has to change you on a cellular level, doesn't it?
It's very interesting. We've been doing a lot of work with EMFs and really understanding two different currents. One, the current that God made, which is direct current, versus the current that man has made, alternating current.
Mhm.
And one of the things that happens when you have current is simply the flow of electrons. It's all current or electricity is the flow of electrons, right? And so what happens whenever there's a flow of electrons in a direction, it creates a magnetic field around it. And that magnetic field is what we would call an aura. That's all it is. And so what ends up happening is that when you are really clean, when you've cleaned your body, when the foods that you're bringing in are clean, when what you are bringing in through your eyes and your ears and your nose and all these other entry points into your body, when these are clean or at least have some level of filtration, right? What happens is your energy flow changes, especially for the better, especially when you are grounded. One of the things we've learned over the last several months is that the best shield against these man made EMFs is Mother Earth. This is the problem. This is the
Really?
same problem that they have a hard time overcoming is Mother Earth. She's that strong.
Huh,
So
huh.
when you're connected, your shoes are off, your skin is in contact with Mother Earth. Maybe you have something we've been teaching a lot of people to develop a grounding sleep system so that when you sleep, you're grounded all night long. When you're at your workstation, right now, I'm talking to you, I've got all these electric equipment around me and everything, but I'm grounded. I have a grounding mat underneath my computer. I'm touching it right now. When that happens, when you're grounded, all of the alternating current that we call EMFs that's hitting us gets drained right back into Mother Earth. And she recycles it and says, let me turn that into something positive or something good. Let me turn that into direct current. So then what
Okay.
happens is not only does the alternating current slough off your body and get recycled by Mother Earth, but the exchange is that she gives you back electrons in the form of direct current that charge your body up as a battery. So now, this is
Huh.
the craziest
Okay.
thing, Deborah. I'm a night owl. I will stay up working till 2, 3 in the morning, not even think about it. I love working at night,
Mm.
right? But now what's happened since I've been on this grounding sleep system and being really dedicated to this as a practice of how I'm going to exist in all of these EMFs and all these things that are causing absolute chaos in my cell structure if I let them.
Mhm.
Now what happens, I spend 8 hours a night sleeping on the grounding sleep system. I'm working at my desk, usually 12 hours or more, but I'm grounded. Now, when I'm done with work for the day, I'm not exhausted. When I wake up in the morning, I'm clear headed and ready to go. My battery is charged up. And what's so fascinating now, this has never been like this for me in my entire life. I wake up when the sun rises without an alarm every single day now. And it just goes to show how when we're connected to Mother Earth, we're in tune with the energies of the universe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Do you wake up
I
rested?
wake up ready to go. There's no brain
Really?
fog. There's no grogginess, where you're like, oh, I gotta get out today. There's none of that, right?
Right.
And it's just
Like you're
good.
not running to the
No,
coffee maker
no.
in the
I
morning
actually
like I
I actually
am.
don't drink coffee. Yeah, I
Ah, I don't
I
know that
know it's
if I
crazy.
would have known that, I couldn't have you on my
I know.
podcast.
I
Kidding.
love all coffee drinkers, but for me, like I had coffee. I've had coffee one time. I went out and when I
What?
was true story,
Okay.
I went out on a pre-date. When you're in college and everybody's
Oh, yeah.
testing the
Yeah.
waters and everything. So I
Right.
go out on a pre-date where I'm kind of getting scoped out and I'm thinking, okay, she's more sophisticated than me. I'm a mess. All right. Like I will spill food all over me. I'm a child, when you get right down to it. So I'm trying to act like I'm this sophisticated adult. I'm going to go have some coffee with this prospective young lady and everything. Right. So we're sitting down, we're having some coffee, and she takes a sip and it smelled good. There's, milk in it and sugar and everything. So I'm thinking it's going to be delicious. I just have never tried it. Smelled good. So I take a sip. It was so nasty to my body that I couldn't help but spit it out immediately, like Kramer on Seinfeld. It was just like,
Oh, that's a good
and
visual. And it was that the last date?
yeah, we didn't move from pre-date to something forward after that. That was the last time. I
Yeah.
got the weird looks on
Yeah, that was
campus. Yeah,
probably a good call.
yeah, yeah.
She didn't get
That was
you.
strike one, two, and
Okay.
three right off the bat for me.
Yeah, that was that. That's all she wrote, as they say. So then let me ask you a question. When you're talking about alternating frequencies of energy, is that what you
Current,
said?
alternating
Currents,
electricity.
alternating
Yeah,
currents. Okay, so is that the same as native and non-native sources of EMFs? So I know
mhm.
that like we're on the planet and there's natural sources of electromagnetic fields, but then or frequencies, but now we also have these 5G towers and we've got cell phones that we stick in our bra and, like all these things that is a not a natural version. So is that what you're
Right, exactly.
meaning?
So what you're talking about there, and it's a really good point, is that you want to understand direct current, which moves in one direction and is very slow, all right, is God made. So Mother Earth runs on direct current. Our bodies run on direct current. The tree outside runs on direct current. The animals run on direct current. Okay, so we all run on the same thing. It's not until 1835 that the first alternating current comes in. And then it's not till 1894 that Tesla starts to talk about the importance of alternating current, because alternating current allows for the transmission of electricity a lot further away from the source
Mhm.
generator, right? So this is what
And
he's for,
faster,
right? So
right?
this
Yeah.
so this is what was the whole let's speed the world up kind of deal, right?
Mhm.
Now, there's not a lot of talk of the consequences to the body. And the consequences to the body is because your body runs on direct current, when there's an alternating current coming at you, it's going to impose itself on your direct current. And now there is a chaotic war type situation going on. All right. And you can measure this. This is what we use multimeters on the human body to measure this phenomenon, that you'll see your own direct current, if you're ungrounded, fluctuating, going up and down. So when you talk about current and you understand that every current, whether it's direct God made current or alternating man-made current, creates a magnetic field. So when we take the acronym EMF, we're talking about electricity, magnetic, there's always a magnetic field, and then field or frequency. It depends on what you're talking about there. But what you're alluding to by saying native is you're saying, okay, that's a magnetic field, an electromagnetic field created by Mother Nature, created by direct current. We create EMFs. That's why when like, all right, you've had this situation where you've been standing somewhere, somebody behind you, right, might be a little creepy or something like that, but they're staring at you, right? And you
Yeah.
turn around and you know it. And they and right, and you how did you know? You knew
Yeah. How did I
you
know?
knew
Yeah.
because of the exchange of magnetic fields and electricity. That's what you're feeling. Okay. And so
Wow.
that's how
Okay.
sensitive we can be. But what you're alluding to with native would mean that the source flow of electrons is direct current. Our bodies, the tree, Mother Earth, right?
Walking on the
Walk
grass, jumping in a lake, all that,
all
right?
direct current. All right.
All direct current. So direct is God made, it's part of our everyday like experience, unless of course you're living in a high
You
rise
got it.
in downtown. Okay, so interesting. We went and visited our daughter in
Mhm.
Chicago a few weeks ago. She graduated from her master's
All
program.
right. Congratulations.
And so I know it was super exciting. And we were in this hotel, and I was on the 29th, we were on the 29th
Right.
floor. And I got to tell you, for I think we were there 5 days, my head was wonky. Like I just felt like, as my husband would say, a bubble off a plum. Like I just, so what
What was
is
happening?
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was happening there?
So, couple things. The further we get disconnected from Mother Earth, the worse we are for it,
Mhm.
right? We used to either walk barefoot or wear moccasins or leather soled
Right.
boots. Now, those are going
Right.
to allow for electron exchange. You can still ground through that. But now, with the invention of sneakers, tennis shoes,
Mhm.
right, and these
Yep.
thick rubber soles that are made from recycled plastics and
Yeah.
petrochemicals,
Yep.
what those act as an insulator. So let's take the average person's experience and then we'll put you in the high rise. Okay.
Okay.
Average person's experience is they sleep on a bed that's not grounded. So that's
Mhm.
8 hours, let's say on average, even though we know it's not. But let's say it's 8 hours out of their 24-hour day. So a third of their day, they are not grounded. Then they have carpet in their bedroom. They put their feet when they first get off the bed on carpet. You are now on an insulating surface. You are not grounded. Then you walk around the house in your slippers. The slippers aren't grounding slippers,
Oh my
and your
gosh, you're
floor
right.
isn't grounded. So now what do you need? Because you're groggy. I need coffee. I need something to stimulate my cortisol production in my adrenals because I'm
Okay.
drained and I got to crack that whip on a tired pony anyway, right?
Yep. Okay, I think I told you guys that I did a parasite cleanse in May, and it was hard, but it was good. And so I want to tell you a little bit more about it. I just interviewed the founder of Mrs. Rogers Hood, Kim Rogers, and I got to ask her all the down and dirty questions that I had during my parasite cleanse. And I got to tell you, like I said, it was hard, and I had it impacted my sleep, and it impacted my mood. Can ask my husband about that. But I got to tell you, I feel better now. And I was asking her, I said, Kim, I feel like I don't have the sugar cravings anymore. I don't feel like I have the brain fog like that I used to have. And I said, honestly, every day between 2 and 5 for the last 40 years of my life, I have craved sugar and caffeine, usually in that order. And I have to really fight it. And then if I do have those things, all I want to do is take a nap. And so I was saying that after the cleanse, I all of a sudden noticed, hold on, like I have more energy in the afternoon. And I don't find myself going over to my pantry and grabbing some chocolate. And I asked her about it, and she said, yes, that is one of the benefits of getting rid of those buggers that were in my body, is that they drive the sugar cravings. So I got to tell you, I'm sold on it, and I can't wait for you to listen to the podcast. But if you're interested in one of Kim's kits, I'm going to tag it all in the show notes. Use the code DENOS10 to get 10% off. I'm going to order a couple more. My poor husband, we're going to do it again. She was recommending 2 or 3 times a year. Anyway, like I said, I'm really glad I did it. I am loving the impact now. And it was great just to have that conversation with her. So hope you enjoy the kit, and follow Kim Rogers, Mrs. Rogers Hood. She is a wealth of information, and she's super generous with her information. She's got a lot out there. So enjoy.
Now, what do we do before we leave the house? We put on shoes that further insulate and isolate us from Mother Earth. Get into a vehicle, and especially if it's an electric vehicle, which is even worse, that's going to create more
Yikes.
man-made fields, right?
I know.
Now,
Darn it. We have one of those. Shoot.
shoot.
Okay.
Now sorry, I'm sorry to tell you, it's a cancer car. That's something that I would, if I were you, I would be like, bye-bye. We're not doing that.
Okay.
Now you get to a place where you add on certain things. So let's add on a Wi-Fi router where you're going to be having concentrated EMFs, and you're in closer proximity to the emitting source. But there's no closer proximity to an emanating source of EMFs than your cell phone. Because what do people do with their cell phones? They keep all the antennas on, even the ones they're not using, even the ones that are stealing all their private information and they gave them permission to do it. And they put it in their pockets near their reproductive organs or in their bra near their tatas, right?
Yeah, I know.
And then magically what happens? A tumor in one of those locales. What happens with an antenna on your phone is you have to understand it's a two-way antenna. It receives concentrated EMF signal, and it also emits information back out. So if you have all your antenna on and you're on your phone, for example, calling someone, that's when you're going to get the highest concentration of EMFs because it has to go out to space or a tower nearby and connect. And then that signal has to go out to space. And we have to have all this communication seamlessly in nanoseconds exchanging. So this is going to be a high amount of information being concentrated into one focal place. And if you're holding your phone, if it's on your body, now your cells become, because your body is an antenna too, now your body starts to get activated in a very negative way by that alternating current and those magnetic fields. So now it starts to impose itself on your magnetic field. So now let's take you and put you in Chicago, a smart city, or a city that is becoming smart. That's to say it's stupid. Okay. You are now 29 floors above Mother
29
Earth.
floors. Yep.
Are you grounding while you're sleeping at night? Did you bring grounding sheets or a grounding mat?
No, because I don't know what they are.
Good. So now we get to learn some fantastic things, especially for a
Okay.
survivor, right? This is
Yep.
very important information.
Yep.
So
Okay.
now what I do when I travel, I just did this last weekend. I'm going someplace, I'm taking my grounding mats with me, and I'm taking a simple device that you can get at any hardware store to check and make sure the electrical work in that place is grounded properly. So I plug it into the outlet, it's grounded properly. Great. Now I can plug my grounding mat in to the the third prong. That's the ground.
Right.
I can plug
Okay.
into the ground, and now when I'm touching it, I can actually do a quick check on a little tester to see if I'm grounded. Or if I have a multimeter, I can be precise and go, okay, how efficient is this happening for my body? But I can measure it on the human body. See, that's the thing that we've done that changes this up for a lot of people. We actually include the human body as a part of the measurement in the circuit. Okay.
Okay.
And that's where a little simple product tester that you can actually, instead of putting, there's like a little diode on the back of it, yet you are supposed to touch your products with. Don't do that. Put your finger on it, test it, and then put your hand on like I'm touching a mat. And now if you're grounded, it'll show up. We just did this great experiment, Deborah, at a talk. I was at Naturally Inspired in Colorado a couple weeks ago with Tammy and Jason Garcia. We brought 10 people out to the front of the stage, had everybody hold hands. Everybody's wearing shoes. One guy is holding this device. It's a little green dot that shows when you're grounded or not. And I said, okay, go ahead, put your finger on it, and now click it. He clicks it, and the light flashes, and then it goes blank, which means he's not grounded. I said, okay, now keep holding that little button down. And he held the button down. And I said, now I went down to the other end of the line. Everybody's holding hands, remember? And I said, now you, furthest away, 10 people away, you take your shoes off. We were on a concrete floor. You can ground on concrete. She took her shoes off, and as soon as she took her shoes off, and as soon as her foot touched the concrete, the light 10 people away turned green, showing that everybody is now grounded, right? Because this is a universal principle that we're teaching. It's just physics, okay? Wow. So if you are in that 29th floor, are you grounded without a grounding device? No. Are you being hit in Chicago with tons of EMFs? Yes. Okay. And now 4 days of that, you're not feeling good. Why? Because your cells are being drenched in electromagnetic chaos. All right. And now you're feeling wonky, you're feeling off and everything. So had you, and this is a great habit for you, had you brought a grounding mat to sleep on, where you can just put a little strip of it on the bed you're on, plugged in if the wiring's good and everything.
Really?
If you had plugged that in, and if the building was wired properly, and you plugged that in, now when you're sleeping all night long, all the EMFs hitting you for your body, it's as if they're not touching you at all.
So my brain is firing in so many different places right now. So there's a man-made solution to a man-made problem.
If you know what you're doing, yes, and it's because it's just physics. It's just universal physical principles of how electrons move. That's all it is, right?
Because we are electric. Well, we're electric beings, right? I mean, which it's hard to like get your mind around that. I'm a very kind of like I'm I'm woo-woo, but I also kind of, balance it out with, some Western medicine and all the different things. So this is pretty woo-woo, but
it's pretty scientific, I think.
But it's also pretty scientific.
And I guess, Deborah, this is where my engineering mind takes over. I'm a skeptic. I came into the healing arts after finishing up my engineering degree, and I thought, wow, these people are nuts. Because quite frankly, there was so much in it that was built upon belief. And that's not really the realm of science. It's not where science is supposed to be. Science is supposed to be provable, reproducible, curious, You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
but that's not what was going on. So
Yeah.
I said, okay, well, this seems like a great opportunity for us to start actually seeing what works and what doesn't, which means we have to be into testing, which is what I've done my whole career. We have to be into research and testing, but we also have to be able to understand and explain what we're doing here, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it became it's not good enough for us to say, well, just take my word for it on something.
Mhm.
Let's be
Right.
able to prove it. So here, let's prove this. Now, as you can see right here, I'm going to do my best to try and let me see if I can hold. Uh, I need a third hand, but that's all right. So right here, you see this right here? You
Yep.
see in the upper part right there where it says AC?
Yep.
Okay, so we're looking for alternating current right now. I'm going to put the common on my nose, and then I'm going to hold this other probe in my hand. So I'm going to be measuring me as a circuit, not touching anything. Let's see if
Okay.
there's any. I'm going to just do this like this. Any alternating current. What do you see?
Nothing.
Zero.
Yeah.
Why? Because I don't run on alternating current. When I
Yeah.
switch this over now, though, to direct current, do you see where it says DC now with a little negative sign above it?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, now watch this. Do the same thing. I'm just putting this probe on my nose. And now what do you see?
Oh, yeah. It's lighting up.
But do you see it jumping around a little bit?
Jumping all over the place from the 200s up to the 500s.
Why is it doing that? Because I'm in an electric magnetic field and I'm ungrounded. All
Okay.
right. So now I know my body's trying to run on direct current, but it has to
Yeah.
fight against the assault of the alternating current hitting me.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So the big thing that we've seen, and there's many more measurements we do on stuff like this. We actually just talked about this at healingfortheages.com. We
Hmm.
just last month did a virtual solution summit that does have CEUs associated with it. But we just did a virtual solution summit on EMFs and earthing. And I just showed people how to master their cell phones. So now you can minimize EMFs coming off your cell phone, how to get into better habits with your cell phone. One of the things you will never see me do ever again, I will never hold my phone while I'm using it. All right.
Really?
I will never do it. I understand now just how deadly that actually is. So
Okay.
when I'm using my phone, if I'm
Hmm.
calling somebody, it's either speakerphone or plugged in headset.
Yep.
It is never on my body. I'm never holding it. It's always about 10 to 12 inches away from me or more because that's when it's highest emitter. And
Hmm.
and if I don't have a grounding mat, I just throw it on the ground. The phone goes,
Really?
yeah, I don't, what do I care? Right? It's my
Yeah.
phone. Boom. It's on the
Right.
ground. Right. And now the phone is grounded while I'm using it. And now I've minimized my exposure to those EMFs. I've minimized
Okay.
my decision to exist in a chaotic environment for my body.
Right.
And the win with that, Deborah, is very simple. Now adrenal fatigue goes bye-bye because now my body can charge up all day long without
Mm.
being assaulted by the stress of the alternating current of the EMF. That's what they do. They create EMFs create a situation called unconscious adrenal activation.
Okay.
All right. So it means your adrenals are getting turned on all the time because your body it understands it's in a stressful experience when you're not
Mhm.
grounded.
So is that why, I mean, it seems like every third person I know says, "Well, I just got diagnosed with adrenal fatigue."
You got it. This is why, because people are insulating themselves from Mother Earth 24
Mhm.
hours a day. Because
It's
now
true.
you left the house, got in an electric car, went to a job site where there's electronics all over the place,
Mhm.
and what are you doing? Pounding a bunch of acidic foods and drinks to try to maintain something. Then you're wiped out by the end of the day. So what do you need? I need a drink, more acid, and things like that. More
Yeah.
yeast typically coming into the body, and then you go home and what are you doing? You are starting it all over again. The
Yep.
average
Sitting on the
person,
couch watching TV.
the average person, Deborah, spends less than 1 minute of their 24-hour day grounding or earthing. And we know what that does to the blood. you've seen probably in the live blood cell analysis, you've seen red blood cells all stuck together and everything.
Yep.
That's called a loss of zeta potential. And all of our red blood cells have a charge around them. And when the charge is the same, it repels. And that's why you see red blood cells freely moving, because the zeta potential is reestablished. EMFs, spike glycoproteins, heavy metals, quantum dots, whatever it is. And most people, it's a combination of these things. Now what happens is the zeta potential around the red blood cell gets disrupted. So it's no longer just negative charge. It gets negative, some parts positive, and now you get sticky blood.
Which is terrible for you.
It's a deal breaker.
It's a killer. I'm a huge fan of the Phoenix Lift face and neck oil from the Body Deli. Honestly, I'm telling you, in the hot summer months here in Washington, which we don't get hot that often, this is what saves my skin. After a half a day or a day surfing or just being out in the sun or working in my garden, I come in, I wash my face, I put on this Phoenix Lift oil, and I can't say that it's gonna really lift my skin. But what I will say is it makes my skin more luminous. It does feel like it tightens, and my skin is moist. And I might go a whole day with just feeling like my skin is kind of dry and itchy. I put on this Phoenix oil, and I swear I feel like I just take a deep breath. My skin isn't dry and itchy anymore, and it just feels so much better. Use the code ENOS15 to get some money off. Now, I will tell you, it's expensive. I'm going to be really honest with you. It's an investment. However, I will say this bottle of Phoenix oil, which is about 2 ounces, will last me about 4 or 5 months. And then sometimes I'll even put it on my hands and around my cuticles if they're feeling especially dry. So go to the link in the show notes, ENOS15 for 15% off anything you purchase at Body Deli. There's lots of good things in there. I also use their sunscreen, and I also use their vitamin C serum. So all good things. Okay, so are you saying, Dr. H, that if I get up in the morning and I walk around my yard,
barefoot,
that can barefoot, that can actually help my red blood cells not to clot?
We've seen
in the best way. I mean, like, clotting's important. You cut your hand, you need some clotting, but you're talking about like on an ongoing basis in my bloodstream.
Yeah, the best warfarin, the best blood thinner in the world is Mother Earth. All right.
What?
Yeah, it's not even close.
Oh my!
It's not even close. So so before 5G towers went up, the average time that you needed to ground to reestablish the zeta potentials was about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, depending on where you were. Now, sadly, with 5G and all of this crazy technology, it's averaging about 3 hours that you need, to reestablish the zeta of grounding, earthing, right? So, and for your audience, earthing means that you are in direct contact with Mother Earth. Grounding means you're using a device to establish that contact with Mother Earth.
Oh.
So
that's a great distinction, because I've heard them.
They're interchangeable.
I hear them used interchangeably, but earthing makes more sense. Like I'm actually on the earth.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's morning, right? Or you're going to get done with this show. You take off your shoes, you go walk around your garden barefoot, and and if that becomes your habit, then now you've cleared off any of the chaotic effects of the alternating current on your body, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if we want to take this up a notch, we simply get a grounding mat in your office and put it underneath your computer if you have a metal framed computer. If you're using a plastic framed computer or a plastic keyboard, you put it under your feet. We cover all this in the free EMF guide. You can go to energetichealthinstitute.org, get our free EMF guide. We go through all of this in detail and give you videos. That's how important this is, right? But when you are grounding all day long, like right now, my average day, I'm grounding typically 18 plus hours a day now. Right?
Because you sleep on a grounding mat. So that sounds like that's kind of the money move.
It is. I mean, it's such a good idea. It's such a winner, right? And we get so many testimonials.
If you wake up more refreshed.
Oh yeah.
And
you're charged up. Your battery. You're literally. We actually can measure using that same multimeter. We can actually measure your batteries charging up when you are earthing and when you are grounding. We actually can see your negative potential going up and up and up and up and up and up and up until you reach that place where your batteries are fully charged and it can't go anymore. And then you'll start seeing a little dip and then back up and a little dip and back up. And so when you're doing that at night on a grounding sleep system, and we have the companies, we've already tested their products. We've done all this work for you. It's like, look, I don't expect everybody to understand electron flow physics, right? Like that's right. I get it. Right. I
Yes.
get it.
Yeah.
But we can at least understand the basic principles of, okay, this little sticker that I put on my phone that says it's anti-EMF, that's not how physics works. That's not anti-EMF, right?
Mhm.
It's just a wishful thinking. Okay,
Right.
it's not
I've
doing it,
heard that. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if you take your shoes off and you get your skin in contact with Mother Earth, the split second that you do that, you have now nullified all of the EMFs around you. And if you have some basic things that you're doing, turning off your router at night, making sure the phone stays off your body, in the at the virtual solution summit we just did, replays are available. At the one we just did, we showed where the antennas are in the phone and how, in my presentation, how to turn those antennas off when you're not using them, right?
Wow. That's
Right. So we've
great.
we've
Yeah.
broken all this stuff down with this
Mhm.
with this in mind, Deborah, because we want to keep things super simple for people. Like
I think it's important
you got
because
to.
it's overwhelming and we're not asking anybody to give up their cell phone
No,
or
no,
their Wi-Fi I mean, all of that.
no,
But it seems like there are ways to manage this technology that can make us healthier
100%.
versus just saying, well, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to throw my hands up and just stick my phone in my bra.
Right.
No,
Right. No.
there's a solution.
If you are going to put that phone on your body, please turn your phone off. It takes under 10 seconds to turn it back on when you want to use it. So if I, on the rare occasions that I now leave my house with my phone, I got to tell you, I love not taking my phone with me anywhere. I love it,
Mhm.
right? You remember when we used to be unavailable in the world? I
Yes.
love it.
What a blessing that was.
I'm teaching this to all the young kids now. I'm like, you are going to learn the beauty of being unavailable. Okay.
Ah,
Right. They
yeah.
want you to be connected 24 hours. Just say no.
Right,
No.
just say no. I know, and I mean, I respond in a timely manner, but I don't respond immediately because half the time my phone's on airplane mode.
That's a smart thing to do. Right.
Yeah, I'm a little ADD, and when I hear all these phones going off, I
Right.
just get so distracted, and it's a dopamine hit, right? Like, I don't wanna be addicted to
Well,
this.
that's what the notifications are for. They're saying it increases
Mhm,
productivity. No, it doesn't. It increases
mhm.
increases
Addiction.
it makes you anxious. Right?
I agree.
You're
Yeah.
working on something, and if you just were able to lock in, maybe have a little music in the background,
Mhm.
you're gonna get through it and get it done. But what happens? You start typing, you get into a thought, and then a notification pops up on your phone,
Ding.
and then another
Right. Ding, ding,
notification,
ding.
and then
Yeah.
another one, and then you start answering those because, oh my God, I couldn't possibly let somebody wait a minute in their life
Right.
to not have something from me, right? It's nonsense.
Exactly.
So
It is nonsense.
so
Yeah.
what we're doing here is we're using time-honored natural principles that work. And the time-honored
Mhm.
natural principles are really simple.
Yep.
Prevent the stuff that you know is bad for you from getting into your body. The stuff that you couldn't prevent from getting in because life happens, neutralize it. And the stuff that has gotten in, cleanse it out of your body periodically every year.
Mm.
So we covered prevention last year at the Fall Healing for the Ages conference. Dr. Group, Dr. Jana Schmidt, Dr. Brian Artis, and myself, we covered this in really great detail. How do we prevent stuff from getting in? I focused on water. How do we clean our water? Right? Because
Mm.
that's one of their major delivery routes for what they're doing, how they're poisoning us, right? So we clean it. We tested it. We showed that the testing methodology that we teach works. How do we neutralize things that get into us? Well, grounding, earthing. We now have shown and proven this with blood samples in our most recent conference of showing under the microscope what happens in these two experiences, just EMF versus a person who's grounded, and how long did it take for the blood to change, right? The zeta potential. And now this fall in September 13th and 14th in Dallas, Texas, and virtual, we're doing another conference. And this conference is how do we eliminate? So it's prevent, neutralize, eliminate. And it's the same principles over and over again. 1, 2, 3. It's just you're using different compounds and different nutrients to achieve the goal.
Interesting. So it's really sounding from this conversation that if we can get a handle on this EMF
Mhm.
and this electric energy, we could probably be pretty healthy.
Yeah, and this is what we've been showing. When we started this, I've tested personally over about $25,000 worth of the highest level EMF stuff that is out on the market. The shielding kind of nonsense and the dirty electricity and all this other stuff that's out there. And I remember we started testing this in October and November of last year. And I was expecting it all to be fantastically work and us to be able to endorse these things and say,
So
hey,
you're talking about like covers on phones or things like that.
right, the
Okay.
little laptop shield that you can put on your, that don't work.
Right.
I can tell you that. That's crazy, don't work. But
Really?
oh, it's horrible. It's a
Shoot.
joke
Okay.
how easy it is to test it and prove that it doesn't work. I can prove that it
Okay.
doesn't work, that they don't work in seconds. And I shouldn't
Okay.
be able to do that. Okay? That's
Yeah.
how bad it is in the industry. So what I remember getting so frustrated by mid-November with everything that we were testing was failing. I remember going on an epic rant to my research team, about it. I was so furious. I was like, oh my God, how much money in this industry is going to products that people think are
They
protecting them.
do. Right.
And in some cases, they're actually amplifying the EMFs on the human body, right?
Right, because we buy these products, we see them advertised on social media or whatever. So then we think we have this, well, I've got this health halo because now I have this cover on my cell phone or yeah.
The lies we tell to ourselves because we want to believe, right? And this is the
Yeah.
same lies people were telling themselves about the damn shots. They wanted to believe, right?
Yep.
But you can want to believe until the cows come home, all right? Facts don't care about your belief. Facts don't care about your
Yeah.
feelings. Facts are just facts. So
Yep.
I said, we got to go in a different direction on this. And I was actually reading this book right here. Like I said, proudly, I'm a nerd, right? So I actually was reading this book right here, Application
Application of
Go for it.
quantum dots in biology and medicine.
Right.
That's some very light reading,
Very,
Dr. H.
oh, totally light reading, and everything. And one of my mentors would describe this as horse snot. Like he's like, I got to read through this horse snot. I'm like, yeah, this is horse snot that I'm reading through. And you're reading people with no moral or ethical understanding of the implications of what they're doing. And they're acting like everything is the greatest thing ever. In this book, there's an actual chapter, actual peer-reviewed paper in there on the toxicology of quantum dots. Quantum dots are used in all these computer screen, phone screen, TV screen, anywhere you see an LED they're everywhere, but they're also used, which most people don't know, in contrast dyes for imaging.
Oh, yeah.
So one of our big
Right.
guidances has become, if you're going to go in for imaging, do not get a contrasting agent, period, under any circumstance. They tell you they clear from the body like that. That is nonsense. And they know it.
Really?
It's in their literature that they know this. Okay.
I've had so much of that during
So
cancer. I had
you
so much contrast.
you got to come to the conference in the fall, and we got to talk more about heavy metal clearance, right?
Can I just say crap?
Right. Well, that's what it.
Dang it.
That's the correct response. This is not informed consent. What they told you was they lied to you that it was going to be cleared from your
Wow.
body. It doesn't get cleared from your body. It gets embedded in your cell structure, and it throws off your direct current. It creates more chaos, more disease in your body, especially when it gets hit with magnetic level frequencies for the imaging. That's how they phosphoresce.
Yeah.
And When you're just in an EMF field ungrounded, it's hitting you and activating. This is what throws things off, okay? But
Okay.
it couldn't be that, right? And it couldn't be based upon physics and everything. So when I'm reading through this book, one of the things that stood out was articles, because it's a collection of peer-reviewed articles from 2022, like the most recent stuff we could get on this topic. What blows me away is that at no point in time do even these psychos say that the quantum dots are safe in the human body. They repeatedly refer to which one is less toxic than another, with the understanding that all of them are toxic
All are
to the
toxic.
human body.
So which is going to be the least toxic to a human
You
body?
got it.
Oh, gosh.
That's how they discuss this stuff. So what I do is I'm like, listen, I was told by God specifically, speak truth. This is what I'm doing, right? So you might not. I get a lot of people that don't like me, and that's fine, right?
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not.
not for everybody.
I'm not everybody's cup
I'm
of
not
tea,
for
right?
everybody. That's right.
It's just what it is. It's all good. But what you know you're going to get out of me is the truth. And anything
I love
I
that.
say, especially in public, I am going to be able to back up. There are no wild, outlandish claims. What the environment and the stuff we are involved in right now is so wild and so outlandish in and of itself. It defies belief to begin with. But see, that's the thing. It doesn't require your belief to exist. And once you accept that, then you can get back into the pursuit of facts, reproducible, demonstrative understanding of accurate information. And once we have that, we can start to devise a strategy for how we are going to deal with it. And so, what I've been doing with Dr. Artist, Dr. Group, Dr. Schmidt is saying, look, we know and have been practicing natural medicine in the truest sense of what we know it to be. You will never see us, talk about prescription for any pharmaceutical. You'll never hear us talk about using antibiotics. You'll never hear us talk in advocacy of a vaccine. I've been very open recently that if you are a natural practitioner and you are advocating for vaccines, I am revoking your natural doctor, natural practitioner card.
Wow.
All right. That is
Yeah.
out of here. That is nonsense. You clearly are a danger to the people you are claiming to serve. That is how extreme this is now. And anybody who wants to debate me on that, I'm right here.
You're right here.
We'll pull up the vaccine median excipient summary, and you can explain to me how formaldehyde and nail polish remover and aborted human fetal tissue and these things confer immunity to the human body. And be ready, because I'm going to debate you on isotype switching and all kind of crazy things that most people have never heard of, that you can go look up in any of these textbooks, any of this peer-reviewed literature, because that's what I read. That's what I
Right.
study. Now,
Right.
when you have that understanding of things and you have in your heart that, why am I doing all this? Because I have an ego and I need to be right? No, I already know I'm right. I don't need anyone's validation. What I am looking for is giving people who are seeking an exit door from this nightmare a light so that they can find that exit door and be a true part of their own rescue, because that's what's at stake right now for us. This isn't some wishful thinking, we're embellishing kind of time frame we're in anymore. We have to decide what we are going to be as a world cultural species. What are we going to do? Are we going to be about love, and are we going to be about logic and making sure that things that come to market are properly tested and that there is real regulation? Or,
No kidding. Amen to
right?
that.
Or
Yeah.
are we going to be people that just allow the status quo to continue to basically, like a meat grinder, chew the people we love up? I was on the phone, and I got to say this one, Deborah, if we have time.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
I was on the phone with my cousin as her mother, my cousin, was dying in the ER. She had of course, gone and gotten the shots and gotten several boosters.
Yep.
And then magically, her eyes roll back in her head one day and she does that flatboard thing that a lot of people saw, and she falls backwards, goes into convulsions, and they put her on an ambulance, not knowing. And of course, it can never be the shot, so nobody even did that.
Nope. It's not the shots at all.
She's in the room, my cousin, with her mom, calling me frantic. And I'm like, okay, let's see what we can do. I already know by the time I get this call, there's nothing that we're likely going to be able to do here. It's in God's hands at this point.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, let me see. So I said, order a D-dimer. Let's see. At least let me know if this is what we're dealing with. The doctors on the other side started arguing with me about D-dimer. I said, listen, I'm not here to argue with any of you. I'm licensed. I know what your license is, and I know how to take you guys out if you guys want to get in the way. She's the advocate. Here's her patient bill of rights. She has a right to request anything, and it is your obligation under the
Good for
law
you.
to make
Yeah.
sure that you get this done. And if you don't, I'm going after your licenses today. I'm going after your licenses. And if I have to bring my attorneys in, we bring our attorneys in. Okay?
Explain a D-dimer.
So a D-dimer is a measurement in the bloodstream of a breakdown product of blood clotting. All right. So
Okay.
the higher that number gets to, and at this range, top of the range of the US units is 21.4. The higher that number goes up, the more D-dimer is in the blood, the more blood clots there are that the body's attempting to rapidly break down. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So we get the D-dimer. D-dimer comes back and she's not stable. She's actually slowly fading, like they had given her God knows what to try and stabilize her. It's not working. The lab results come back in 20. It's 21.4, meaning she was way over that. That's the highest that it can measure. So now I know this is from the shots. This is spike glycoprotein accumulation causing all the red blood cells to clot up. I know what's going on with this. We've done enough work on this the last several years.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but you have to start administering an anticoagulant right now. The strongest one you got. Are we talking Coumadin? I don't know. Well, you have to start administering something right now. We have to start talking about, I can't believe I'm talking to allopaths about their own
Right.
drugs and what they have to
Right.
do if there's any chance right here.
Exactly right. Yeah.
While they start debating me, Deborah, she goes into full cardiac arrest. And her daughter is screaming on the phone in the
course.
ER, right? And so it's like when people come at me with these, like, they want to get into these principled stands on belief and everything, I'm like, listen, stop. I've seen things that you probably haven't, and I respect that. But I've also read and studied things you haven't. And it's one of the smartest things we can do when somebody's talking, even if you don't agree with them, is to consider what they are saying on their face value. And if you really want to do something, like I've told people many times, prove me wrong. I would welcome it.
Yeah.
So far, no one has been able to prove me wrong, and very few have even accepted that challenge.
I'm sure.
Right? And so that's where we go. Where I stand is we're here to protect God's medicine, because that is the only real medicine, and it needs some people standing around it and understanding the immense value of it, how to utilize it and maximize it. But it's going to take all of us saying, this cannot leave our existence, because without it, we're done.
Don't experiment on me anymore.
We're done.
And tell me the truth. Like I feel like during my cancer journey, I had to really seek truth. Like I wasn't hearing all of the details that I needed to hear. And now looking back, I'm like, why did I do XYZ?
Well, but this is the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the question. Here's the real question.
Yeah.
First thing I'm going to invite you to do is say, let's divorce ourselves from the possession of what's negative. All right.
That's good.
So it wasn't your cancer journey. It was your healing journey if you want to possess something. right? And we have
Okay.
to be really on top of things because that changes our electrical output
It
and
does.
our
That's
magnetic field,
so right.
right?
I love that.
Okay.
Yes.
But what I'd say is this, and this is where we have to, this is what we were talking about when we started grace, right? We have to be graceful with ourselves,
Yeah.
right? Did you do the best under all the circumstances with the information that you did know
Mhm.
at that time? Did you do your very best?
I absolutely did.
How do I know that that's true? You're still here,
I'm still here.
right?
Yep.
So when we take that into our hearts and we understand it, of course, when we know better, we're going to do better. And now
Yeah.
you're learning better and getting better and better and better, right?
Yep.
But I think the thing we really need to impart to ourselves and the people that we come in contact with is that gratitude you talk about, number one. That makes the world such a better place. It brings
Such a
light
better
back in.
place. Yep.
But the grace has to come with it, right?
Mm.
For ourselves and everyone else. Hey, you got the shot. I'm not judging you for getting the shot. That was a crazy good diabolical propaganda campaign, right? I'm not going to judge you for that,
Sure
right?
was. Yeah.
Now you got 4 boosters. I'm going to be like, yo, man, you need to wake up a little bit, okay? Because you rolling the dice and playing some Russian roulette, and sooner or later that bullet's going to be in the chamber,
Oh,
okay?
no. I
Right,
know.
right. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be real with you too on that, but I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm here to do God's work. God
Yep.
told me to do specific things. Take no offense, speak truth, be selfless, remain humble. I'm going to do those things because, in my opinion, Deborah, I'm in bonus time. I've had a great life. If it ended in the next split second, I would be thrilled with a smile on my face, grateful for
Okay.
everything, right? But the thing for me is that I can't, in my heart, turn this world over to these evil people who think doing this and experimenting on us and the people we love is okay,
Yeah.
right? Trying to
Yep.
put
I
us into
hear you.
some kind of digital slavery is okay. It's not okay. And under no circumstances should we go willingly into that nightmare that they're creating for us. So come and talk to Deborah and let her share her experience with you. Come and talk to the people she brings on. Let them share their experience with you because we know one inescapable truth about learning in this lifetime. A wise person learns from their mistakes. An even wiser person learns from the mistakes of others.
Ugh.
All right. And everybody listening has a
So
chance to
true.
be that
Yep.
wiser person right here, right now, and avoid these landmines that are all around us just by being aware that they exist and what the best path to get through them actually is.
Okay. Wow. That was so full of truth. And, at its core, Dr. H, really simple. Like, right. If we know better, we do better. Have grace for yourself and be aware of the landmines around you. Right.
That's
And
what it
learn
is.
from others. Yeah. Learn from others. Wow. You are a gift. Your information is a gift. It blessed me today. I'm so grateful we got to reconnect 7 or 8 years after I first met you. And thank you so much for coming on. Why Did I Get Cancer?
Thank you so much for having me. And I pray for you consistent and incredible success with what you're doing and reaching people with your story. If you ever want me to come back on, let me know. I'm happy to come back on and teach. And I think the thing that we are encouraging everyone to do, please get involved with Healing for the Ages. Check out our conferences we've already done. Check out our one that's coming up in the fall. You have a lot of people who've been putting in literally thousands and thousands of hours. When you add in our research teams, we're talking well over at this point 100,000 hours on the greatest threat to our future so that you have a chance to make the choices that are going to promote love, logic, light within yourself and within your family. And
Wow.
so we are super blessed and grateful for people like you who give us a forum to reach more people. And as long as everyone here is willing to do today's work, we're going to be just fine. But we've got to be committed all across the board to all of us doing today's work. And that's what we do.
Today's work, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. So enjoy every minute of today. Yeah, well said. Thank you, Dr. H. So fun to reconnect. I never thought about being a podcast host. It wasn't on my radar. I was a TV nutritionist. I had a private practice and I traveled around the country speaking to people, companies and CEO groups about how to eat healthier so that they could have more energy and achieve more in their lives. And never thought I'd be a podcast host until I got diagnosed with cancer. And at the end of cancer, I just said, oh my gosh, God, what's next? Like, who's going to listen to me now? Honestly, who's going to listen to me now? I go on TV and I preach to thousands about what they can eat to not get cancer. And I felt that still small voice inside say, go look up the website. Why did I get cancer? And I thought, well, that's a good idea. That's what I've asked every oncologist. And I went and I Googled it, and the URL was still available, which honestly is a miracle. God had a plan for me. And this is my mission now, is to teach people what they can do to make themselves stronger against getting chronic diseases like cancer. So here's my ask today, is I am asking you to help me to get this podcast out to more people. Here's how I found out how you do that. You leave reviews and you subscribe to the podcast. So it just downloads and goes right into your queue anytime I release an episode. This helps me, and it helps me get this message out to a lot of people who might really need to hear it. And I always say this is the podcast that I wish I would have had during cancer. And maybe I would have made different decisions in my treatment. Maybe I wouldn't have. I don't know. I don't want to play Monday morning quarterback, but what I do know is that this information is vital to get out to people so that people realize that they have options. And that's one thing with cancer. I felt like I was so many times fresh out of options. And it turns out I wasn't fresh out of options. And I wish I would have had more information, but I do now. And it is my life's work to get it out to as many people as possible. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for leaving me, hopefully, a 5-star review. I would really appreciate it. And hit that download button. Thank you. Hey, keep in mind, I'm not a doctor. And if you need medical advice, please reach out to your team. That is going to be just the best source for you because they know you. So again, I hope you enjoyed this podcast.